the lobby is going. Zelzor is saying go, go, go. So it appears Eclypsia are ready, and they are actually going to hit that start button. So we are live with the grand final. I believe Zote should be around to accompany me through this second and potentially last game of the evening.
I am around and ready for this game. Very excited. Very excited to see who the bans are going to be. Nunu, Malphite, Orianna. Who knows? We do see the first ban being Aurelia coming down from Eclypsia. Still very afraid of El Mopo's Aurelia, so not going to allow that to come out. Shen is also banned. Pretty standard ban, but I almost feel like Shen is at a point where you don't have to ban him. There are ways to counter him. For instance, if you allow him to go in the jungle, send a really great counter jungler against him. He can be set behind pretty well, but instead the bans are Ahri and Rumble, so only one more ban per each side left.
And I wonder who is actually going to be removed because Darius is still available, as is Morgana, who we've seen multiple times today, and Orianna as well. In fact, Orianna's been doing very, very well all day long. A lot of damage, a lot of burst, and actually, I could just sense it was going to be removed. So Orianna actually banned, making sure they remove that one. And that's interesting when you consider Hawkdon plays a very good Orianna, so they don't want to play them in this lineup this time.
Yeah, it is interesting. It might signal that they want to play a Malphite, possibly that they'll play a Nunu in the jungle as well. I'm not certain, if that's really one of Broto's go-to champions. So the Malphite is banned out, and now they have the momentary, delay there. It is going to be a first pickup Karthus, and that, potentially gives, Nunu over to Eclypsia, and they appear to be locking that one in, and they also have another high priority pick. Who are they going to send against Karthus? They do know who that is, so they can counter pick already. Karthus doesn't really have very many places that he goes besides that middle lane.
Yeah, very, very true. Karthus, of course, is a really interesting champion to select because they don't tend to win their lane. They just tend to do well the longer the game goes. It's a champion who has huge amounts of damage. There's no way to avoid that damage or mitigate it at all. It's going to happen because of his passive, because of the fact that he can throw out that Requiem after being taken out. Who do Eclypsia want to put against Karthus, and who do they think the rest of their lineup is actually going to be to counter what else is coming? Because, of course, they will have the last pick. So Nunu and Sona's locked in, and we've seen Nunu and Sona really growing in popularity over the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks of competitive play. And Maokai's a brave pick. He's a slow jungler as it is, and I don't know if I'm convinced if that does get locked in, if that's the best choice as a jungler against a Nunu.
Yeah, it's a tough call, and it looks like it is going to be locked in. So Maokai and Ezreal lined up for Gamehoppers over there. As you mentioned, might not be the best choice, might not have the free reign of his jungle that Maokai likes to have. He's kind of a very heavy early game ganker, more so than a farmer. Oh my goodness, I would love to see a Fizz. I was thinking, what would they match up against Karthus? Fizz absolutely can destroy a Karthus. I don't think we'll see that. My guess would be a Morgana, because Morgana could potentially, beat Karthus out in lane and then have a really great teamfight presence as well. The only issue with Morgana is you kind of telegraph a lot of your skills, your ultimate with Soul Shackles, and it can be blocked down by that Maokai. So instead, we are seeing a hovering over Twisted Fate, which could be very, very interesting.
I like watching Twisted Fate as well. The champion's a lot of fun to watch. The gold cards and the wild cards, for example. But the most fun thing about that is Nocturne is available, so we could see. No, so Nunu's going to be the jungler, so ignore that. I'm a monkey. But the Destiny ganks into the bottom lane, into the top lane. Depending on who they pick, if they take somebody with a hard CC, for example, they could try camp out Yorick, and a lot of mobility could be seen from Twisted Fate, and it's part of the reason I really like seeing him in competitive play.
Oh my goodness, and this could be exciting. And Alistar bottom lane, as I always say, Alistar always banned out of North America for his jungling presence, but he's a great support champion too. Allows for a lot of burst damage, especially against someone like Sona who doesn't have great escapes. You flash in, you pulverize, then headbutt them back towards the lane, and that really helps out gank assist. But I was really hoping that we'd see like a Nunu top lane go against that Yorick, but it is going to be a Renekton to head off against that Yorick. should be a really good showing. We saw Zelzor play Renekton earlier on against Fnatic. Next game it was banned out against him, so he really knows how to use that early stage power of Renekton. And then later on, of course, Renekton has that advantage. He can use Call the Meek, and it'll really help take down those ghouls very fast, make sure he's not taking continuous damage, and heal him up a little bit. So very, very exciting. I do like the Alistar support, because Alistar support is probably one of the harder lanes to gank from a TF. For instance, if you picked a Soraka, Soraka is kind of just, sitting down there and can be killed so easily whenever TF comes. If she overextends, she'll just be gold guarded. Those wild comes come out, and then he's going to be able to land the next gold card as well in almost every situation. So really good pickup from Gamehoppers. I do like what they have going on here, and they have, a lot of great people that they can use that ultimate on, that Omen of Death ultimate on from Yorick. Mid-game might make more sense to use it on Karthus than Ezreal, and then as it gets into that later game, of course, use it on that AD carry.
I wonder now how this is going to play out, because of course Maokai, his Vengeful Maelstrom is good against AoE damage, and that is of course going to be reducing a lot of that, but there isn't too much AoE coming out from the side of Eclypsia. Of course Absolute Zero is going to deal a decent amount, Dominus is there as well as the Crescendo, but it's not an AoE composition really. You've got a lot of sort of single target, blow somebody up, move on to the next one, blow somebody up, move on to the next one. Two slightly less traditional team compositions in terms of the champions right now. And Renekton, I'm a fan. I've always enjoyed watching him play. I've always enjoyed the play style of the Angry Crocodile. I just haven't actually seen him all that often. He's not an absolute top tier pick. Do you consider Renekton a counter to Yorick? I mean, you've mentioned the Cull the Meek on the ghouls. You've mentioned that the slice and dice can keep him mobile. Is he going to be able to dominate a Yorick in the top lane though?
I don't think anyone can necessarily dominate a Yorick, and I might have to reconnect to Raidcall. I'm hearing that my sound is a little bit messed up, but he can be aggressive, so aggressive early on, and that's where Yorick has a little bit of trouble sustaining that, consistent aggression.
Well, we'll see how it plays out then. In terms of the rest of the lanes, Ezreal Alistar is, of course, a particularly strong combination as well. Guys, in terms of the volume, if it is that, just turn the volume down a little bit. Unfortunately, technical issues on the fly, it's not always the greatest of things to resolve. Let's have a look at Mr. Roll's room page. 11 MR, 16 physical damage, and 13 armor. As soon as we get into the game, it will be drowning that out just a little bit. And of course, Mr. Kill Wars Corki. We've seen Corkis with a couple of different runes and mastery pages today. 24 MR at level 18, 15 physical damage, and 13 armor. So going for a completely standard rune page on that AD carry right now. I believe that Zote is in the process of potentially reconnecting or just reconfiguring that microphone. So while he does so, let's have a look at I'm So Fresh's rune page. I believe he'll be using the same that we have seen multiple times to date. That's at the 4.5% movement speed as well as the 15% attack speed. And his jungling counterpart, Mr. Broto, mastery page of 0.219. And his runes is actually completely mirrored. So 4.5% move speed and 15% attack speed. Those movement speed quints have been so strong with junglers over the course of the last couple of weeks. And I like the change. I like seeing different mastery pages, different rune pages. In terms of summoner spells, 3 ignites and a single exhaust for Eclypsia. And I think that was 2 ignites, 2 exhausts on behalf of the Gamehoppers. So we are busy loading into the game. Zote, have you rejoined us?
I have rejoined us. I don't know that I've necessarily solved anything, so chat, let me know, and I'll certainly try to fix it once again if nothing has been fixed, but nothing has changed. Okay, no, mic is the same.
I'm not 100% sure what they're hearing, if I'm brutally honest, because it doesn't sound bad in my ears, and what I'm hearing is what's on stream. So I'm not sure if this is just trolls or if it's people just having a bit of trouble. But let's see what it is in game, and we'll keep poking it a little bit to see if maybe something has changed over the night. In terms of the skin war, push, Nunu is back. But Grim Reaper Karthus, Pulse Fire Ezreal, and the Pentakill Yorick, as well as Longhaul Alistar. His hat, it's all about the hat.
It is all about that hat. So I've turned down my mic boost a little bit. Perhaps that'll help. Like I said, doing everything I can to try to resolve it, but we've been doing this for about 7 hours straight, and nothing has changed over the course of the past 10 minutes, so I'm uncertain as to why we're having these issues. Oh man, that pentakill York is very, very strong, and Gamehoppers proving that they're going to be a strong showing on the skin front no matter what.
Yeah, very true. I do think I need to fix my overlays. So let me just make sure I've got this one correct. It should say Gamehoppers on the left-hand side, Eclypsia on the right-hand side in the red trunks. And of course, they are one map up in this best of three. If Eclypsia can win, that means they earn themselves $1,000 and the title of Fnatic Play Raidcall Cup number 3 victors. And that's really what everybody's here to see. So predictions in chat, everybody. Can Eclypsia close this out 2-0? Or are we going to the third and final map? That's what I want to know. And we do hear Ezreal has armed his Mystic Shot. The map-wide voice prompts definitely telling us that the ability is available for use.
Ability was available for use. We did see some early aggression from Eclypsia, but they got caught out by that early Mystic Shot, and now they're being spotted by the ward that was already placed there, a defensive ward placed by Gamehoppers, so their aggression is going to be spotted. I don't know that they necessarily want to pick a fight regardless. Even if they have the advantage here, they are all going to line up in this brush, and this could be very, very exciting.
And we're going to see this is a 5 versus 5 camp at the moment. Absolutely everybody is camping in the different bushes. Alistair, of course, is one of the strongest level 1 champions in the game, especially if he manages to walk into a bush of 5 people. They do just place a ward down and walk away. And this is a bit interesting because, of course, Gamehoppers are not going to know that the ward is there. Gamehoppers are not going to know that ward is available or the vision is there. Maybe that little vision ward would have just provided them the sight. And it seems my keyboard shortcuts are not working, so sadly I cannot actually change the vision. We do see Corky going pretty low, compliments of Ezreal and Alistair, but they should be able to just recall and heal that up. Drinking a potion just to ensure he survives though. As I was staring at my keyboard, that takes place.
It was a pretty good engage. That pulverize from Alistar, very, very strong. And we're seeing continued aggression top lane. Oh, in the jungle rather. That blue buff is stolen.
I'm so fresh.
Is anyone going to fall for it?
Yeah, they're forced to use their flashes though just to get to safety, but I'm so fresh went so low. He got exhausted, got ignited, and managed to flash over the wall. And again, a really long range flash, in fact.
Right. I mean, I'm so confused by I'm so fresh. Not necessarily confused, but he always tends to leave that one little Wraith in his camp there. So he's leaving that Wraith in the camp, I guess ensuring that he's not going to get counter jungled. He's like, okay, I'm going to tank almost all my camp, and then you can't come and counter jungle it. But it is a little bit unusual. I guess that's the route he was expecting Maokai to take. So unusual, but I do like it. I like any strategy that I haven't seen too frequently before.
And we're definitely going to have to figure out, or at least ask him maybe after the game, what is the actual thinking on that? Why do they, why does he leave the camp? Is it a timing purpose thing that he can come back and then be in control of his race? Is it a, fear of counter jungling? Maybe even there's a thought process that there's a ward there, and if they see at least one of those creeps, that maybe they think the entire camp is available. I did hear that little prog that Broto was going very low, but he manages to get away with his life from those double golems. And is recalling to pick up 1 or 2 items.
Yeah, and certainly he is set back quite a bit, whereas Nunu, thanks to that little counter bait, thanks to picking up both of those blue buffs, having a really good time early on. Up top, Zelzor doing a great job on Renekton, or, the player playing Zelzor doing a very good job, really pushing Yorick back, being very aggressive, but Yorick now is actually going to be able to come ahead in farm. Renekton will likely just play a little bit passively, afraid of being ganked, is going to head on and back home.
Yeah, really nicely done. I actually watched the entire engagement there of Zelzor, and he landed, such a good Ruthless Predator, followed up with Cold Meek, and I think both procs of that Slice and Dice to safety out of tower range, and then back through the champion to get back to the back of the creep line. So really like seeing that from Renekton. In terms of CS though, all the love and attention he's giving to Yorick has cost him a 6 CS lead at this point in time.
Indeed. But he is gonna come back into the lane with that extra item advantage. We'll perhaps see a little bit of attention coming in from Nunu, and Maokai is heading towards that mid lane. Schlei in a little bit of trouble here.
A long-range twisted advance there as Broto follows the flash of Schleier. A little sapling is going to run, and it is going to blow up on Schleier's backside, reducing him to 132 hit points. But unfortunately, Hawkton RV just too low on mana. Could only get one or two of those little dots down, and it wasn't going to be enough to actually put any additional kills. Mopo's now got a couple of levels into that Omen of Famine, so his sustain is going to be growing rapidly, and any DPS that Renekton's going to put down, he's going to be able to heal up pretty quickly. Cole the Meek versus Omen of Famine, what is actually better in terms of gaining HP back?
Now, I think I would give the advantage to Omen of Famine, mainly because you don't really have to put yourself in danger to use it. You can use it from pretty good range. Call the Meek, you kind of have to get up there in the nitty-gritty to go ahead and try to chop up those minions, try to attack the enemy. But we do see Zelzor playing that very well so far, but he has no more health potions, so he has to be a little bit worried. He's only going to be getting regen from those Call the Meeks, but we do see Elmopo pushing up the lane. That's likely going to signal him to head on back home, and he has, how much gold does he have saved up? 1,078, so he could pick up his Tear of the Goddess right off the bat here, in addition to a ward and some potions.
And it's a pretty big CS advantage already. 11 creeps after just a handful of waves. If Renekton is going to spend so much time focusing on harassment, he's going to need to convert those to kills, or he's just going to start falling further and further behind. Corki and Sona start to sense something is up. There's a couple of pings going down. You can see Broto has asked, where are the wards? And a ping on the bottom brush and a ping on this interior brush. There is still, a minute and a half left on that particular site ward. So we do see some aggression. Headbutt, pulverize, exhaust is out. Corki with a beautiful Valkyrie puts himself in a position where he's fairly safe. But Mr. Rolls immediately follows it up with a nice arcane shift and picks up the first blood.
Yeah, great first blood there. Maokai really didn't even need to come in. Essentially, that Alistar-Ezreal combination was able to do a lot of damage to Corki just on their own. Certainly, the assistance from Maokai would have been much appreciated, but they could have probably cleaned it up without him. And now they know their power early on in this laning phase. They might try to go aggressive even more.
You do see a little bit of pressure in this middle lane. I'm So Fresh runs up, throws out a little ice blast and says, hey Hawkton, what's up? I'm celebrating by throwing snowballs at you. It doesn't do anything other than annoy him somewhat. And now we actually hear the recall animation from Ezreal saying withdrawing. I don't know if you get those global voice prompts as well, Zotair, but they're a tad frustrating from time to time.
No, I tend not to get them for whatever reason, or maybe my game sound is low enough where I just don't pay attention to them. We do see, it looked like it was going to be a concerted effort to try to counter this blue buff, but instead, they're just going to chase Nunu around. Nunu's not going to be able to get very much, if anything, done, and he's just going to take some couple saplings to the face, and I guess just really kind of make Karthus take the long way back, make him feel a little bit unsafe, and we're going to have TF head into that top lane.
He's going to be able to land gold card, wild cards, a couple of auto attacks. Omen of Death comes out from Yorick. He's most likely just going to use that to farm out, and that's the smartest thing you can do. When you know you're dead, and you know that there's nothing you can do, you're not going to be able to pick up a kill, so you may as well pick up as much gold as is possible. Would he get the experience from those creeps, seeing as though he's technically dead?
I'm not certain. I don't know about that one. That's something certainly I would have to look up. My initial guess is just no, but that's only based on the fact that I've never seen anyone level up while they were dead as Yorick that I can recall. But I think I've seen people level up as Karthus using his ultimate while dead. So it's a tricky thing. We'll have to pay extra attention next time.
Yeah, definitely going to have to keep an eye on that one. Mr. Rolls is Ezreal. He is leveling up his Essence Flux over that Mystic Shot first, so going for the slightly more secure, slightly safer DPS build, and of course the debuff that Essence Flux offers is going to be very useful when they get into these duels, get into these slightly longer withdrawn battles with the likes of Corki and Sona.
Right. And actually, Corki threw in a missile, but it somehow missed Alistar. I don't even know how you can miss Alistar in that brush. He is, taking up the, entirety of that brush. And now he does land a couple more missiles, and knows that someone is in there. He's just going to back off. Finally gets Sona back to help him out. But we do see some, aggressive aggressive play up top. Renekton going to pick up that red buff and bring that into lane against Yorick. So will that be enough to allow him to face off against Yorick 1v1, perhaps pick up a kill?
Crescendo is going to go off. The True Shot Barrage manages to miss absolutely everybody. The Twisted Advance is going to hold Sona in place just long enough for Ezreal to land one more attack. And the fact that the Requiem came down from Karthus meant it was a fairly easy kill. Killwall gets away relatively unscathed. Not too much damage on him, but did manage to duke and dodge that True Shot Barrage. Take a look at the vision wards coming out of Eclypsia right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wards on the field that I can see, or just 5 wards. Huge amounts of vision, top lane and throughout the river.
Yeah, it is very, very impressive, and I'm So Fresh, doing a really good job, making his presence known around the map. Does sneak by that wall of pain, but not going to be able to follow it up with anything. Does pick up 135 gold simultaneously, thanks to killing all those creeps at once, and we might see some aggression push down on this tower, and we also might see a coming dragon as we have Renekton coming in from top.
The Wall of Pain goes down. Hawkton manages to land just one of those little lay wastes. The rest of them are actually duked very, very effectively for I'm So Fresh. Renekton opting not to come in and not to reveal his position just yet. But it's most likely just going to move all the way back out to that top lane. They chunk down that middle lane tower to about halfway, and unfortunately nobody else has decided to go for Drake just yet.
Unfortunately, we're not going to have that team fight coming up right now. Schley is going to head back to base. Has that, Destiny ultimate up. Can use that at any given point. I mean, bottom lane kind of needs a little bit of love. So far, they're 0-1, 0-1 for the both of them. Malachi has been, paying attention to that in particular.
And Zalzor doing really nice in the top lane, following up Slice and Dice and landing a Ruthless Predator, Kolomik, and a couple of auto attacks onto Al Mupo. He's only got 80 armor at the moment, and the fact that Renekton's got double Dorn's longsword and that red buff, he's trading pretty evenly if he decides to go for any form of engagement. But look at the minimap. Maokai is nearby, as is Twisted Fate. So this is going to become a 2 versus 2 very, very quickly. Dominus has been activated. Destiny comes out. Gold card goes down. Yorick is going to be the first one to fall. Now they've turned their attention over onto the Crocodile. Can the Ghost of Christmas past Yorick actually do anything to pick up a kill against Zalzor? Blood Boil goes out, and the movement speed buff is going to be strong enough for him to get away. I think I heard a Requiem from Karthus. I don't know if that was just me dreaming or not.
I think it might have been you dreaming. It looks like he still has that off cooldown. Could potentially use it, but Zalzor has just enough life that he would likely survive from that, level 1
and
Requiem.
Look in the bottom lane. Unbreakable Will goes out. We managed to catch the majority of that fight on stream at least. Mr. Rolls juked over or Arcane Shift over the Crescendo to get out of range and avoid the stun to pick up yet another kill.
And that bottom lane, very, very dangerous now that Ezreal has that Phage. Got a proc off there on Sona, and Sona just went down as a result of it. Even though a lot of the initial aggression was going against Corki, this forced him back out of the fight. How is the farm going in that mid lane? Very, very even up top, a little bit in favor of Renekton with 17 CS up, and he now has that Hexdrinker too, which is going to be a really big ticket item, especially against Yorick, who is going to proc that, Hexdrinker if he tries to get the kill on Renekton, and also great against Karthus' Requiem. And we see Slaya just hanging out in that bush, and El Mupo not in a good spot here.
Gold card goes down, Ignite, Wild Cards, Ruthless Predator, Slice, Dice is not going to be enough, down to 50 HP. I think that was a fail flash from Twisted Fates. In fact, he face plants into the wall. And not only was that a fail flash, but I'm So Fresh opting to use his Absolute Zero to farm up a creep wave in the middle lane. I'm not sure if you caught that or not, but a full channel Absolute Zero for one single wave of creeps. It seemed a little bit non-optimal to me.
Yeah, I mean, Nunu isn't very good at clearing creep waves, so, certainly he probably wanted to get back to base. He does have, a lot of things going for him. He does have 70 CS to the 55 of Malachi, so he does have that early lead. How does it pan out in terms of gold? He's actually 600 gold up, and he actually does not have the assist that Malachi has under his belt. So doing a good job once again on that Nunu. And now we're seeing, a pretty early dragon here. Renekton has moved down to middle lane, so he's going to be able to protect against it. And the poke from Kill War is pretty good. He's able to chunk down Ezreal pretty effectively, and now he's going to town as well on Alistar. looks like everyone will just back out. They don't necessarily want to fight, but a really good dragon for Eclypsia. And Eclypsia down 1 kill, but up 2,000 gold.
Take a look at Ezreal, 116 CS, Phage and Sheen completed a full Sheen ahead of Corki right now. So just in terms of pure DPS and in terms of itemization, there's a noticeable difference between both of those bottom lane carries.
There is at this point. Corki does have incredible level 6 burst. Ezreal does too, but Ezreal I feel is just a little bit harder to land. You know, you have to get that True Shot barrage on everyone. Mystic Shot and Essence Flux a little bit easier to land, but the missiles, even if you miss one from Corki, you can still do a lot of work. And the great thing about having Nunu in the jungle is you don't really mind giving up that red buff to your top laner all the time. So we've seen, you know, from about 7 minutes on, Renekton has had that red buff, really been doing work with it in that top lane, has, you know, created a very substantial lead insofar as CS, 117 to 79.
And he's opted to finish his Hex Drinker first as his first big item. And it makes sense when you consider he's coming up against a Karthus and an Ezreal who both deal pretty decent burst damage, pretty decent magic damage. We see that Maokai is coming to visit this bottom lane, trying to set up a gank. Once again, there is no ward in this bottom tri-bush. Headbutt, Pulverizer, Slow is going to come out. Crescendo is going to lock up Mr. Rolls. Absolute Zero now starts to get channeled, but the Arcane Shift is going to put Ezreal to safety. Kill War has gone very, very low. Now Twisted Fate wants to jump into the party. He's going to pick up a kill onto the bull. He's now turning his attention over to the tree, and unfortunately he is not a woodcutter, he's not a lumberjack, so not going to be able to cut Broto down. But at least turning that one around, what looked scary for Corki, the fact that Nunu was able to be very close by, luckily, and of course Destiny coming in from Twisted Fate, they managed to turn that one around and pick up a kill for themselves.
Yes, they did turn that around. Good job dodging the True Shot barrage, and yes, not a woodcutter, not a lumberjack apparently, but still a really good job. Apparently Schleia is the butcher because he can kill cows, but he cannot kill trees. He is the anti-vegetarian.
I like that.
We're seeing a lot of aggression top lane too.
Yeah, Dominus is out. He has that red buff ticking away. Look, Dominus isn't the longest of cooldowns, around about 2 minutes, but I don't know if that was the smartest of moves. He has a Hex Drinker, and it was a full health Yorick, who's got such great sustain. He has his Omen of Death up as well. Nelson's going to be able to get away before Hawkton is there, but there's a little ping on him saying, look, I know where Karthus was. A little overconfident from Renekton, I feel.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, the only reason he really backed off in the end, he was afraid of Karthus coming up, and Elmopo did use his own ultimate, so essentially exchanging, you know, ultimate cooldowns. But Renekton, you know, didn't waste his Ignite, didn't really go full bore into that fight, and, you know, didn't force any summoners out from either side. So it was kind of a wash insofar as what Renekton did. But he's also, you know, kept a 40 CS lead, so that aggression is, you know, paying off somehow, somewhere along the way to get him that really substantial lead. And now he's also picked up a Fade, so he should be able to stick to Yorick even better.
Wow, with the kill and with the assist, look at how much gold it actually equates to. At 17 minutes, Renekton has 2,000 gold more than Yorick. That is a huge, huge number. That's one decent-sized item as well as tier 2 boots difference between the two. We see that Schleia has come down into this bottom lane. Gold card has been selected. The timer is slowly running out though, about 1.5 seconds before it wears off. So he's going to need to wait for the cooldown on that next pick a card. Maybe the Bull's going to be able to reveal his position if he decides to face check. Gold card is about to be selected. The Bull goes down, immediately breaks with the unbreakable will of his. Is going to land the headbutt pulverized combo, but it's not really going to be enough to save his life. One more auto attack and gold card, and the big one from Corki actually chunking Mr. Rolls down even more than I had actually anticipated.
Yeah, and a great thing about Corki is he gets that passive, that extra true damage, which really helps chunk Alistar down. Ooh.
Schleia uses the Destiny to come up behind Mr. Rolls, lands the yellow card, and then takes him out. But it appears right now, Eclypsia are playing the butchers and carving up as much meat as they can.
Right, and they're pushing. Nunu, I guess, has that effect, and they've taken out those 3 outside turrets. They have a dragon to their name, and now a 6,000 gold lead, only 19 minutes in. That is a substantial lead, and, you know, how essentially is that turnaround? There's a really great team fighting presence from Gamehoppers here with Karthus, with the potential of Omen of Death coming down on either Karthus or Ezreal, so they have that going for them. Maokai, likewise, it brings a lot of utility to the team fight, not a lot of damage. damage on his own right. But things are not really looking that great. Already an Aegis built up on Nunu. Looks like he might be building into a Zeke's Herald this time. I'm not certain if he has been building that in the past. He has built up that Kindle Gem and without the use of a Shurelya's Reverie. And we're seeing a very aggressive push down middle here.
And the damage from Corki is so good, landing all of those auto attacks, getting all the Fate blocks. Hawkdon's going to go down, and the entire battle has moved away from him, so he's not going to be able to use all that Defile damage. Requiem comes out, it's not going to be enough to save anybody else though. Gold card goes down yet again. They managed to get some beef jerky off that cow. Mr. Rolls is able to pick one up, but trading 1 for 3. So Ice Blast is going to go out. Almupo is going to chase away. Blood Boil is now on both Zelzor and himself. Are we going to see the slice and dice? There comes the slice. An ace. An ace for Sona at 20 minutes into the game. Eclypsia extend the gold lead to 8,000. That's going to be 9,000 after this dragon gets picked up. And Corki is just melting people's health bars right now. Huge props have to go to Schleier as well, landing all those gold cards and those wild cards at the times when it's needed.
Yeah, and I just feel like a little bit of over-aggression coming down from Gamehoppers. They really wanted that middle turret. They ended up not getting it, and what ended up happening is Karthus got chunked so low by Corki. He was essentially taken out of the fight very, very early on. His ultimate, his Requiem, sadly was not able to kill Corki either, and that means, you know, another free dragon, almost 10,000 gold in the lead for Eclypsia, and we see Renekton pick up a Guardian Angel. So now he has, you know, 10 ways to thwart death. You know, he has that Hexdrinker Shield passive that's going to proc up whenever any magic damage brings him low, and then he's going to come back with about 700 life thanks to that Guardian Angel, 750 life that is, and 375 mana.
Oh, gold card down onto Hawkdon. The slice is not going to land from Zelzo, unfortunately, so he cannot follow it up with the dice. But it is a flash burn from Karthus, so no flash Defile. But Deathcap now finished up for Schleier. He's going to be working towards that Lich Bane. He has the Sheen and the Blasting Wand available as well, and the KG's Lucky Pick, so there could even be a DFG, increasing his burst potential, which is very, very good at the moment. And once again, phenomenal ward coverage from Eclypsia. Have a look at that minimap. There's so many little red dots giving them all the vision that they need to make the correct decisions at the right time.
Yeah, very, very hard, and you know, these next coming fights are not going to be good for Gamehoppers, but they aren't being aggressive. We do see Zelzor rush in there.
Crescendo manages to land across 3 members before being removed from the fight. Somehow Zelzor is still actually alive. Guardian's Angel is going to be procced. He's going to be able to avoid the damage of that absolute zero. Maokai, Alistair, Karthus, and Yorick all down. Another ace and a double kill for Corki. In the matter of 2.5 minutes, we have had 2 aces. Hawkdon RV has actually quit the game before the surrender goes out. And Eclypsia with a very strong 2-0. We actually get the double rainbow explosions on the Nexus on my side for some reason. But really well played. And the French side of Eclypsia win the 1,000 euros. And they are declared victors in today's Fnatic Raidcall Play Cup number 3. 607 Twisted Fate, 207 Zelzor, 308 on Eclypsia's I'm So Fresh. Guys, we are going to start to wrap this one up, but before we do, myself and Zotair, if Zotair's got some time, we're going to answer a couple of questions over on the Fnatic Raidcall room. All you guys have to do to get there is install Raidcall from www.raidcall.com and head over to the room LEET 14. That's 133714. I will put up the number on screen in just a moment. In about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes time, I'll jump in there and answer some questions. Zotair, are you going to join for a quick Q&A?
I will join you.
All right, awesome. Just in case I made a mistake or anything, guys, it is $1,000. Sorry, if I did say euro, it's because I live in Berlin and I live in euro. That's my currency here. But it is $1,000. They are the victors. Head over to the room, guys. If you jump into Caster Chat, you actually stand a chance to ask us some questions, and we'll do a quick Q&A. So we'll be back as soon as this advert break is concluded.